Welcome to our podcast. I'm Pete.
And I'm Maureen.
We're the Boomers.
The Sonic Boomers.
The Sonic Boomers. And this is program number 108, I believe, if memory serves me. And it does on occasion.
It doesn't always.
No. Some days it does, some days it does not. And before we get into our topic today,
right?
Just a couple of things that are on my mind.
I know. Things weigh heavily on your mind these days.
As we all know, the New York Giants lost to the Philadelphia Eagles and lost their shot at the Super Bowl. And Giants fans are very upset, and rightly so. Although, I think that realistically, they went into this because they had that good win against the Vikings. Mm-hmm. And they were feeling pretty good about the team this year under this new head coach, right? They had probably the best season they've had in a decade. And I think a lot of people were cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, they're always hopeful.
Going into the game with the Eagles. But look, everybody and their kid brother knew that this was David going against Goliath. This was the 500-pound gorilla. And they got their butts kicked. So this past weekend, the Eagles win. They're going into the Super Bowl. And the folks who managed the lighting at the Empire State Building decided, in the spirit of good sportsmanship, we will illuminate the Empire State Building in the colors of the Philadelphia Eagles. People went crazy. Giants fans went absolutely berserk, putting a lot of nasty comments on the Empire State Building Facebook page.
Okay.
And I thought the funniest one was from the New York City Department of Sanitation.
They were nasty?
Because their color, they were snarky.
Okay.
Because their colors are green and white.
Okay.
And they wrote, if you are as angry about this as we are, this traitorous posting of the Eagles colors, just remember that your sanitation department's colors are also green and white. And we take out your garbage every day, and we'll take out the garbage along with the Eagles next season.
Good comeback.
So I thought that was a really good comeback.
Yeah.
But it's like, guys, Empire State Building, what were you thinking?
Well, I'm just glad that it's an East Coast team. You know, that if it can't be New York, Philadelphia is the next closest thing, I think, Interesting.
So in 2 weeks, we'll see how it all shakes out. It should be a good game.
Well, the Super Bowl always is, there's excitement surrounding that no matter what. It's like the World Series, as long as it's a local team, I'm more interested. But just the fact that you're looking for the greatest of the season, it's exciting.
The last thing I read was, I think they said the Eagles were like a 2-point favorite.
Okay,
right
good.
now. So
good.
We'll see how it all plays out.
I know my Philadelphia cousins will be happy.
Oh, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're...
Shout out to the Haws.
They're happy already, I'm sure. So what are we talking about this week?
Well, this is kind of interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You hear about crazy laws that are in different states, and I started wondering, well, are there any in New Jersey? And there sure enough were. And many of them are still on the books, even though, as you will see, they are very antiquated, they are very unusual. And I thought, as a public service to our listeners, we should put out these so that they don't get arrested by mistake.
We don't want to see any of you going to the hoosegow because you did something that you didn't know could get you arrested.
You might just be a criminal if you break some of these laws. So we're going to do this as a public service to our listeners.
And we have compiled, or Maureen has compiled, a list
of quite a few. And like I said, as far as I know, they are all still on the books.
Okay.
Whether or not anybody bothers to enforce them is questionable, but I think these are all still current laws.
They could, if they wanted to, is kind of the thing.
I think so.
Probably get thrown out of court. They could if they wanted to.
I think so. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure that they're all still on, but as far as I could see, I couldn't find any place where they were rescinded or done away with.
Okay.
So
go hit me with the first one.
the good thing to know is that no poor people are allowed in New Jersey.
Well, I guess we better be packing up. And if you see the moving van pull up in front of our house, you'll understand that we're just being law-abiding citizens.
Now, this is interesting. According to an ordinance passed back in 1941, it's illegal to bring a poor person into the state or to move him from one county to another within the state without the permission of the county welfare board. Now, it doesn't say what constitute being poor is, what the guidelines are, the income level or whatever, but that's what it was. And any person who disobeys this law is guilty of a misdemeanor, and the aforementioned poor person will be returned from whence he came in the manner provided by law.
This was 1941. This was enacted. Yeah. Do you remember how that went when that went down?
No. That's before my time.
I know. I'm just being screwy. Number 2, don't sell cars on Sundays. According to Title 2C, Section 2C, colon 33-26, it is prohibited for anyone who engages in the business of buying, selling, or exchanging motor vehicles to conduct such business on a Sunday. Anyone who goes against this law will be guilty of a misdemeanor and punishable by a fine not exceeding $100 or imprisonment for a period of not more than 10 days or both.
I have a feeling that this is connected with the blue laws.
I was going to ask you that.
That are still in effect in some of the counties in New Jersey. But I as far as I know, this is still technically on the books, but obviously car dealerships are open and people are selling cars. So I think it's one of those things that it's more trouble to go through the process of proposing a bill to rescind this law and get it through the houses, and it takes time. And I think they just kind of said, we'll just ignore it.
Yeah.
That's my take. I don't know. Just my thought. Now, here's another one for you. Law number 3 of weirddom. Liberating a fox is prohibited. If you have a trapped fox in New Jersey and you let it out, you can get in trouble with the law. The offense is penalized by a fine of $150 for each transgression.
So what are you supposed to do with the fox?
I guess
if you have it trapped, what do you do now?
I guess you turn it over to animal control and they deal with it.
Okay.
I would imagine. I mean, what
Didn't
else?
our daughter have a fox in her backyard? I think she did.
In the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it was in her yard too at one point. Yeah.
Number 4, don't say hi to strangers. Well, that kind of makes common sense in this day and age. This absurd edict hails from the township of Haddon, down in Camden County. It's not allowed to accost a person of the opposite sex and by word, sign, or gesture attempt to speak to or become acquainted with such person against his or her will on a public street or other public place in the township.
That's kind of a...
No hookups in Haddon, I guess.
I guess not. That's kind of a weird one, though, because, you want to be friendly,
Yeah.
But obviously, if someone is uncomfortable, you move on. But I don't think it should be against the law to just say, hi, good day.
Yeah, can you imagine somebody sitting in a cell somewhere in Haddon?
What are you in for, buddy?
I said hi to someone.
Oh, big bad.
Move away from this guy.
Okay, also still in Haddon, so I guess that's the mecca for weird laws, cross-dressing is illegal. No one is allowed to appear in any street or public place in a state of nudity. That's not cross-dressing, that's cross-undressing, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Or in a dress not belonging to his sex, or in a decent or lewd dress. Very subjective there.
Yeah, you could probably challenge the hell out of that in court today if they tried to enforce it. Number 6, no shooting ranges in Blairstown, please. it is unlawful for any person to establish, maintain, operate, or conduct a commercial shooting range within the township of Blairstown.
So I wonder now if these new things like the axe throwing places and that people open for amusement, I wonder if that comes under that same heading.
Those axe throwing places make me nervous because I'm wondering, do they offer alcoholic beverages?
I think a few of them do, but I don't think...
Wow, there's a prescription for disaster. People drinking and throwing axes. This has to end badly at some time.
I think they keep the two parts separate.
I hope so.
I think, it's kind of like a social thing. You go out, you throw the axes with your friends, you compete a little bit, and then you go and adjourn to the bar and have a few drinks, I think is the way it works.
After the axe throwing is done.
Yeah. Now, here's one.
Hey, here comes your friend Stumpy. What happened?
It is illegal to wear a bulletproof vest while committing a murder.
In Blairstown? Or no?
Anywhere in New Jersey, apparently. We don't want the murderer to be able to live. According to Title 2C, Section 2C, 39 to 13 of New Jersey law, a person is guilty of a crime if he uses or wears a body vest while engaged in the commission of, or attempt to commit, or a flight after committing or attempting to commit murder, manslaughter, robbery, sexual assault, burglary, kidnapping, criminal escape, or assault. So basically, if you're a crook, don't wear a vest.
All right, so we can shoot you.
Yes.
Sure. Well, that kind of makes sense.
It kind of does, but I mean, it's, what are you going to do? I mean, like, it just seems kind of ludicrous to me.
You're not going to see that on Perry Mason. Number 8, don't sell handcuffs to minors. Because you never know when they're going to try and lock their parents up.
No, they used to have toy ones all the time.
Our younger son, Mark, had a pair of fake handcuffs.
And his were really fake. They were like yellow plastic.
Yeah. I mean, there was no mistaking these for the real thing. And your sister at the time was dating a guy who was a former police officer, who, by the way, went to prison for bank robbery. Okay, true story. Hand to the Bible, my late sister-in-law's boyfriend was a cop who became a bank robber and went to prison. You can't write stuff like this, folks.
We have a colorful family history.
Yeah. So what happened?
Oh, with Mark?
Yeah.
So this guy, he comes on all big and bad, like, and puts on the cop voice of like, son, you better relinquish those handcuffs right now because someone could mistake them for the real thing and you could be in a lot of trouble, son. Yeah. Yeah. And
our older son was like, I'm going to hit this guy. I swear to God, I'm going to hit this guy.
We told Mark, just give me the handcuffs, and he gave it back to him later, but that was it. But anyway, tell us about the law.
Well, not sure why anyone would, but it is indeed illegal to sell handcuffs to a person under 18 years of age. Anyone who does so is guilty of a disorderly person's offense. A law enforcement officer shall confiscate the handcuffs sold in violation of this law.
Oh. Now, some of these other laws that we have, I don't have any backing information, so they're just short and sweet.
Right.
In the state of New Jersey, it is illegal to frown at a cop.
Well, frowning at a cop, I think, can get you into some trouble. Never a good idea.
No, that's never a good idea. But, if he says something, then, again, frowning is kind of a generic kind of a word.
Yeah.
And you could frown because you're thinking. You could frown because something he said doesn't make sense and you kind of scrunch up your face.
You could frown because you have no idea why the hell you've just been pulled over.
Right. And, or you could... The cop tells you to get out of the car and you frown at him. I mean, there's
probably not a good idea to frown at that point. If he tells you to get out of the car.
Yeah, you best do it.
Yeah.
But I think, there's a lot of levels of this and interpretations. And again, I think it's one of those laws that it's basically unenforceable.
I remember a little aside story. In our old neighborhood, for a while they had foot patrols. Mm-hmm. And I had just gone to the Dunkin' Donuts. And I picked up a box, a dozen, to bring home and a coffee for myself. And I was sitting on the stoop in front of my house. And two of our township police officers, again, not here in Old Bridge, were walking down the sidewalk. And I said to them, and I meant this in sincerity.
I know you did.
I said, "Oh, good morning, officers. Would you like a donut?" And the one of them looked at me and he goes, "What are you, a smartass?" And I'm thinking, oh, here comes the beatdown. Here we go. Get your cameras out. Pete is about to get a beatdown. And I said, no. I said, I mean no disrespect. Yeah. It's a warm day. I'm just sitting out here enjoying a donut. You guys are walking the beat. I just thought I would be nice and offer you each a donut as just my way of acknowledging what you do for the community. That's all I meant.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, we can't do that.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Right. Oh, gee, that's awfully nice of you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we can't do that. And they just kept, with what I call the cop face.
Yeah. They got to be tough. Well, in Bernard's Township, is kind of a coattail on this, is it's illegal to frown at all, ever, to anybody.
And where is this?
Bernard's Township.
Because every day is a happy day.
In Bernard's
Township.
And
the town council walks in with little smile faces on sticks when they have a meeting.
Happy face emojis only.
Yeah. We should have that here in Old Bridge.
What? Frowning?
No frowning. You have to smile. You have to smile.
It'd be like the Stepford Wives. Yeah. Everything is wonderful.
Route 9 is bumper to bumper for 3 miles.
Now, here's one. If you're convicted of driving under the influence, you can no longer have custom license plates. So that'll teach you.
Darn it. I wanted that sure to please license plate, and now I can't get it.
Oh, I thought they meant like the other ones, like you have the
vanity plates, like I have my call letters on there. Yeah.
So, well, either way, I guess
you can't get them.
You can't get them if you drove under the influence, and you can't have drunk guy on your license plate.
Is that true? Is that in here in the notes? You can't have something that says DRUN?
No, it doesn't say that, but it just says no custom plates.
Probably not a good idea to have drunk guy on your license plate, though. Yeah. Guaranteed pullover.
Yeah.
Let's see. In Blairstown, it is illegal to plant trees along the street that obscure the air.
Right, and they had a picture of I think what they were trying for is not to have these big trees that hang over the road and interfere with like power lines and things like that, or that grow so large that they obscure signs and things like that. But the way they worded it was that obscure the air.
Because as we all know, air does not flow around trees. A tree will block the air from coming to you, and you will suffocate.
Yes. Now, in Trenton, good old capital of our state.
Yes, the capital city.
They have a thing about pickles. You can't eat them on a Sunday.
Even if Governor Phil Murphy says, it's the right thing to do.
No,
we're going to have pickles on Sunday because it's the right thing to do.
No pickles for you. So I wonder if McDonald's would have to then take the pickles off their hamburgers on Sundays.
Again, guy sitting in the jail in Trenton. What happened to you? I had a pickle. You see how stupid this stuff is?
I know. And in Newark, while we're talking pickles, conversely, you can't purchase ice cream to go with your pickles after 6 p.m. without a doctor's note. I prescribe a pint of Rocky Road.
Yeah. You need some chunky monkey stat before bedtime.
Yes.
It is illegal for a man to knit during fishing season.
He can knit the rest of the year, but not during fishing
Well,
season.
fish have to be caught.
Yes.
And if you're knitting, you're not catching any fish.
That's true. That's true. It's illegal for birds to poop on statues, so go out and arrest them.
Again. How are you going to arrest these birds? This is what birds do.
Yes.
It's like, again, bird in a cage somewhere in the town lockup. That's one bird saying to the other one, "What happened to you?" And the other bird says, "I took a shit on the statue in front of the library."
Yeah.
And this net came, and next thing you know, I'm in the cage here with you.
Yeah.
And finally,
Yes.
number 17, in Manville, New Jersey, it is illegal to offer alcohol or... This just gets crazier and crazier. In Manville, it is illegal to offer alcohol...
Is he going to get through this, folks?
or tobacco to zoo animals.
The chimpanzee likes to...
Well, you've seen,
Yes.
film of the chimpanzees smoking.
Yeah,
You know? But, oh my God. Walking through the zoo and say, "Would you offer a camel to a camel?" Oh, that is crazy stuff.
So, and these are all in New Jersey. I didn't even look beyond New Jersey. I'm sure there are...
And I'm sure even in New Jersey, this is probably the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, I mean, these were ones like I looked on several different sites, and these were ones that came up the most often. There were a few isolated ones that came up only once, and I figured I don't know if they were even legit, so I figured I would go with the ones that were the most prevalently referenced.
So should we give everybody a little clue as to what we're going to be doing on the next show?
No, let them tune in.
Well, I guess she told me.
No, go ahead. I'm just being me.
46 years. God bless me. We're going to be talking about maps on the next show.
Yes.
Because maps are coming back, you say.
Yes, they are. That's what I've heard.
And also, on our next show, for my little opening part of the show, I'm going to be telling you about the top names that people are picking for their dogs today.
For their dogs, okay.
All right, so I've got that right here. Oh, you cannot see it until the next show. So we will see you then. Until that time, I'm Pete Torriello.
And I'm Maureen Torriello.
Thank you for listening and watching the Sonic Boomers. Goodbye.
Bye.